Alright, Jeff again here at 5936 Northeast 60th. This is the middle duplex as you face into the property from the street. Going through the cast iron vent here. Also 3-inch like the other duplex. Wish we had some more obvious exposed cleanouts on these things, although in general it's often a half-decent sign when the landlord or the maintenance person does not know where they are, as that usually means they're not being used that frequently for drain cleaning. Alright, let me get some water turned on here. So it looks like the same configuration as the last unit. As you face the front of them, they're, at least thus far, first two I've done here, the line flows from right to left. Looks like we just hit a Y connection there, likely to tie in with the line for the left side unit. That would appear to be the clean out access right there. And then now we're into ABS plastic. So this one does have some updating done on the outside, which is nice to see. Alright, into some more standing water here. A little more gunk in it than the first one did. It's also an older sewer line going through the interior of the home too. It's going to have more years of buildup on it. It feels like I'm pushing something through the line here. It feels like there's a massive debris in front of my camera. At some point here, we should, pretty soon actually, should pop into the green PVC pipe. Oh, we made it all the way to the man on that shot. Look at that. And this one's a little bit straighter run than the other one. But my camera, this one I'm probably going to recommend some jetting on. My camera feels like it was pushing a bunch of junk through the line here. We originally got into the green PVC on the last run. The line was pretty cleared out at that point. That tells you what we were just doing there was pushing a lot of gunk through the pipe. There's the green PVC there. going to pull the line, turning water off right now on this particular unit. Pull back here to kind of start the PVC. Glad my camera went through this thing, honestly. It pushed a bunch of junk out of the pipe. Because the amount of volume that goes down these things, these are indeed worth, especially when you get renters that change hands, it's worth at least scoping them periodically, and or some places just plan on doing maintenance jetting here and there. You can end up with buildup and whatnot in these things just because of the sheer volume that goes down them, whether there's any low spots in the line or not. So as we pull back in here, hoping we get enough water off you can see it. We're going to go past the, if you watch the first video from the left side duplex, we hit a Y connection right as the line turns to shoot off into the road. Like I mentioned before, that where the line crosses the curb lines up with the middle of the middle duplex pretty nicely. So if you go out near the end of the driveway, about where it meets the road, you've got a big, huge asphalt patch there. That asphalt patch is very likely the result of, there could be a couple things going on there, but that looks like that's where they tied these different duplexes together. So we should see that Y connection here as long as ever and the sun's not running water. On this part, we've already seen drained out much better than it is right now, going through the other duplex. We still have some water trickling to the line here. That's not standing. We had some standing water out towards the end of the ABS. Again, that's stuff we've already saw at the other unit. So it looks like we have some standing water here at about 60 feet. I can still hear water running. From the sound of it, it sounds like the bathtub is kind of a slower draining tub. This tie-in right here looks like it's the outside clean out. Okay, looks like we're finally just about done draining out here. So you've got some standing water that persists for about the first 15-20 feet of the ABS here. And the line right now is down to just a slight trickle. Not getting exaggerated a whole lot as it sits right now. once that water settles in, right there you hit about an inch of standing water towards the end of the belly. Much of the standing water in this one is hovering around the 1/4 inch mark until you get to about the last 5 feet of that belly there. But when it comes to fixing bellies, you can't fix part of them, you have to fix the whole thing. So, you know, you've got about a 20-something foot section there. Alrighty. Well, I just so I'm not painting the heck out of everything. This is under asphalt here. I'm getting around 2 foot 10 inches to 3 feet deep. And I've marked it with just a small red dot. And sorry, my paint supplier appears to have sent me the wrong color paint. Normally I use green. In fact, right here, now that it's drained off even more, it's hard to get a good gander as to what's going on there. That almost looks more like you may have some kind of deformation in the line. And or a very, very thick pile of excess pipe glue. I have got a bad enough light glare on the roof right now. That's a spot I'm going to have to take a look at home in better lighting. That lump there in the flow line is big enough. And I've seen plenty of times where someone's put way too much pipe glue in, it drips down and hardens up in the flow line. That lump there was bulbous enough though, it almost, that may actually be the flow line. And what's hard to tell right now with that thing there is if any of this standing water is related to a gradation issue or if it's because you've got some type of small dam up in front of you. There's a little bit of a lip on this piece of pipe, at least it looks like a lip. With the gunk that's in the line right now, it's hard to tell. And see, I'm not seeing an obvious joint there. It's hard to say what exactly is going on, right where you've got a little bit of a lump here too. But anyway, I've marked that spot right where the standing water dissipates off with a little red dot straight out from the middle unit. That's one it'll make more sense to try and review at home to see if sometimes a line gets rested on top of a rock chunk of concrete from busting up or asphalt anyway, and you end up with a deformation of the line. Being that the standing water dissipates off right after that, and the standing water drops down to very minor prior to it, that may have more to do with there being an obstruction in the flow line than actually being a grade issue, like settling related. Anyway, this one's got enough stuff in it. This is one I think would be a good idea to do a maintenance jet on. Clean the gunk out of it. And I would also re-scope too to get sometimes these issues can be really hard to verify when there's gunk over the top of them, grease buildup and whatnot, to get a clear picture, but I'm hoping to get a better picture of things and I don't have a bunch of sun glare right in my face. I'm using an umbrella to shade everything too, and I'm still having a hard time seeing. It's just very bright up here with the sun reflecting off the roof. Anyway, aside from a question mark there, one or two of them, you've got a little bit of a lump in the flow line at either end of that section of standing water, approximately from about 40 feet to 60 feet at each end there. You've got a kind of a smaller lump in the flow line and a larger one towards the end. Those may require cleaning to get a better view of them upon a rescope. We'll have to see. We'll take a look at things at home. Otherwise, everything else there all is intact. I think it could use some cleaning. The buildup in there is not ultra severe, but there's enough in there I'd like to see that cleaned out so it's not contributing to any further buildup in the line. But by and large, everything there looks intact. There's two spots there that are a little bit questionable what's going on in the flow line, especially the one around 60 feet. You've got a pretty large lump in the flow line there that can cause debris to hang up, potentially get a blockage. That's my concern in that location.